This nigga was so fucked up. He started getting aggressive with me. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Why is he getting so... Yo, he tried to push me, and he fell.
In the trash.
In the trash. And cut his hand. Nigga was bleeding. I'm like, looking at him like, how fucked up do you have to be?
Wait, I went to push him, and he moved.
Fell right in the trash.
So I am here.
Good weed out here in Vegas.
So what?
They got good weed out here.
Do they really? You know, I've never smoked weed in my life. You know, this is your microphone. You know, I've never smoked weed in my life.
Insane.
I want to though, but I don't want to waste it with just a normal dude. I've waited so long. It needs to be an epic smoke.
Yeah, but you don't. You're not even gonna know. You won't. You got to smoke a little bit before you know if it's epic or not.
No. But the person I smoke it with has to be like I waited all these years. It need to be big. It needs to be like Barack Obama,
Dave Chappelle or some shit.
No, because everybody does that. It needs to be with like somebody like a Barack Obama. You know he smokes, but that'll be your first time to smoke. And like I had a chance to smoke out with Snoop. Everybody smokes out with Snoop though.
It's Snoop, bro.
It don't matter, man. It don't matter. I had
how do you not smoke weed with Snoop?
I was on this tour bus and he wanted to hit and I was like, no. Because everybody was smoking with. That's not special to smoke out with Snoop.
I don't know.
You know how many random people have smoked out with Snoop?
It's still Snoop.
It don't matter. It don't matter, man. It needs to be somebody that just where you don't hear stories about people smoking out with them. You can't tell me there's somebody bigger than Barack Obama if you smoke weed with Barack Obama.
Yeah, but what makes you think that Barack's gonna be like, here, I'm gonna smoke weed with somebody I had never smoked with?
But that's the thing. It don't matter to me anyway.
Yeah, but you know he's smoking with people on the low.
Jackson?
Oh. I do not want
He smoke weed with Jesse Jackson. That'd be epic. That'd be epic.
You smoke weed with one of the popes?
I sat down with Jesse Jackson one time, and this motherfucker was amazed that we do stand-up. He was like, how do you do that? How do you get on stage and just tell jokes to people you don't know? I was like, nigga, how did you do what you did?
Yeah. Rainbow Coalition.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, your shit is way more impressive than the fact that I just gave people some giggles.
I don't think so.
But he was fascinated with us, bro.
Well, actors are fascinated with stand-up comedy.
Yeah, they are, as they should be.
Yes, you're right.
As they should be.
I was quite special people.
I was on the set of Modern Family, and this is when Modern Family was huge. Ty Burrell and Julie Bowen, I think that's her name, two of the main actors on there. And they knew I did stand-up because I was performing at the Comedy Store that night. And they go, how do you do that? I go, you're on the biggest TV show in the world. They go, no, people write our words. Like, how do you?
Well, not only that, though, man, because, you know, I just 3 weeks ago finished the Acting Conservatory. Big shout out to William Esper Studios, best acting studio in New York City. But as an actor, if you don't get it right, you just do it again.
Yeah, you don't.
And if you don't get it right, they come over, they give you some notes, they give you some, and then you do it again. You know what I mean? Actors do have a lot of respect, though, for theater actors, because you cannot do it again. You know what I mean? When you on stage, when you on Broadway, you can't be like, hold on, let me.
Can you imagine blanking out on Broadway?
On Hamilton, you'd be like, oh, wait a minute, let me run that back.
You know what? I'm sorry, that was from the last scene. Hold on. Yo, let's take that from the, you know what I'm saying?
Take it from the top.
Yeah, let's take that. Y'all go get a drink. We gonna sort this out. You know what I'm saying? They do have respect for Broadway actors. I have mostly respect for Broadway actors, in my opinion, after going through all that we went through, man, in this conservatory, is because you have to, as comedians, we're always tinkering. You don't get to tinker as a Broadway actor. It has to be verbatim every single night.
I can't imagine doing that, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So to me, that is impressive, even from a comedic standpoint, knowing that you would have to verbatim do the same thing.
Is that impressive
Plus,
or
I
just
probably
boredom?
couldn't smoke weed.
I think it's an impressive boredom. You
I'm
could be
sure
high.
you can't smoke weed and be on Broadway.
You don't think
You're gonna
nobody
blank
on
out, bro.
Broadway?
I'm telling you.
really think there's nobody?
I'm telling you,
you have
will
lost your
Yo,
black
you know how many
ass
times
mind.
I've been on stage,
Oh
dog,
my God.
and I'm sitting there for like
You
4 or 5 seconds going, what's
you
the
are
next
a
part
new
of that
fool.
joke?
You are a new fool.
You can't do that shit on Broadway, bro.
You telling me no one on Broadway's ever been high?
I guarantee you this. Nobody
Probably
on,
cocaine, but not weed.
but nobody can be on weed and do Hamilton.
You can't.
You can't remember.
Bro, I'm not saying that you are zooted. But I'm telling you that you telling me no one who's ever worked on Broadway has took a hit before.
Probably, and then they were probably off that show.
All right, anybody, look, anybody that's been on Broadway or no Broadway actors, leave a comment. Leave a comment.
Let us know.
I want to know.
I'm gonna tag some.
I'm telling you, I don't think that you could do that, bro.
I'm with you.
I don't think you could smoke weed
Because
and be on Broadway.
you
bro.
just proved, you just said that you have to be so on the nose every single time. With comedy, like I've seen comedians that are super hot, they sit on stage for 30 seconds before they even say anything.
Let me tell you something, bro. I was so drunk that and coked up, I started crying one night on stage. I started crying.
You lying, bro.
Okay, hold on.
You lying,
Where was it at? I want to know everything.
Let me tell you how bad it was. I woke up in the morning and the first text was from Ali in Houston. I didn't even remember what happened.
Wait, Ali Sadiq?
Ali Sadiq.
Oh, I love him.
Lee can back me up.
That's my
I have. That means that I have corroborative evidence.
Yes, you do.
Of this insanity. And the first text
But
when
you
I rolled
were
over,
different, though, bro. When you were getting fucked up, you were doing it different,
No, but
bro.
so this happened in Houston, Texas.
No.
Yo,
I was in New York. I was in New York. That's how I knew something bad had happened. I rolled over and I looked at my phone and it said, "We praying for you, bro."
Yo, let me tell you how fucked up John used to get. One time we was at, what's his name? Ray DeJean's room.
Yeah,
Remember that shit?
205th.
Me, you, and Leslie, right?
205th.
This nigga was so fucked up. He started getting aggressive with me. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with John? Why is he getting so... Yo, he tried to push me, and he fell.
In the trash.
In the trash. And cut his hand.
In the trash.
Nigga was bleeding. I'm like, looking at him like, how fucked up do you have to be?
Wait, I went to push him and he moved.
Fell right in the trash.
Wait,
I'm surprised he remembered that, bro.
I fell in the New York City trash.
Oh my God, I'm surprised he remembers that. That shit was crazy. I was like, what the fuck?
I can still smell it on my shoulder a little bit.
That's when I was like, John got a problem.
Yo.
So what led you into these problems, man? Like, what was it?
Oh, man.
Or was comedy? Look, I started only 12 years ago. You got how long have you been doing it?
Shit, I've been doing this shit since 95, baby.
95, and
Yeah, almost 20 years.
So I know drugs has always been in the game, but was it huge at a certain point? Because it's still big, but was it just?
What do you mean in the business? You mean?
No, like,
or personally.
for instance, like disco scene, it was a lot of cocaine, right?
No, I don't think
And then in comedy,
ever had
it never had that whole
No.
like where everybody was just.
It's
like,
an individual thing.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
never like a
Yeah, it's
scene.
an individual, right?
Like a cocaine scene, like motherfucker. Well, in LA, yes, it was.
It was,
because I
right?
remember, I don't know if you, what's his name? He used to open up for the Sam Kinison. What's his name? Shit. Fucking weed. God damn
You didn't
it.
even
I like
smoke.
him too. Lil Young, he was a, what the fuck was his name? But anyway, he was telling me when he started, he was working at the Comedy Store. And he said, like, after the shows, Richard Pryor, Arsenio Hall, all of them used to sit down and just chop up cocaine.
Yeah, that was a total different time.
But it was
but that's what I'm saying.
Though.
You know, I didn't know if it was a
Not
time.
during-
He was like that.
Not-
He was
not
like
since
there would
I've
be
been
like
doing comedy.
chunks of cocaine. They had so much cocaine. He said that there would be like chunks of cocaine on the ground when they left, and he would just pick up the the extra cocaine and do that shit.
You know, but back then, man, if you watch some of those old kind of docu-series on drug trafficking, they used to load up suitcases of coke. There were no x-ray machines and stuff like that. So they would move coke over here. You know what I mean? Like you could leave Columbia and just bring back a suitcase of Yale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Miami was built on that. You know what I mean? A lot of that money that turned into real estate money was built on that cocaine money back in the day. But that era ended.
Some Hollywood dudes was snorting all of them.
It's almost like my comeuppance was post Magic Johnson also. So once the AIDS thing was out here, a lot of that sexual revolution stuff scrolled back.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it's just now that they finding cures for AIDS and whatever. Younger people, even though they say and they having less sexual partners and less sex, they are more open.
Yes.
Whereas everything was tightening up after Magic came out and said, "Yo, I got the hip."
Do you with the monster?
The monster, yeah.
Do you remember taking your first AIDS test?
I remember, you know what, to be honest with you, I remember, man, being in college as a ball player, and it is debaucherous. Me and Mike was talking about that yesterday. I remember one time taking my an STD test, and yo, with the teen doctor, and they come in and they ask you a lot of personal questions. You know, how many partners have you had, whatever, whatever. And I remember he said, yo, so how many people have you slept with? He's got his little clipboard, and I told him, he said, whoa. I said, what? I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Yo, let me tell you something.
And then he made me take an STD test.
When I met John, I was like, how? He don't dress, he's not flashy. Baddest bitches. Strippers will leave the club with this nigga.
I got a couple strippers in trouble.
Who gets to fuck strippers? Everybody in that club is like, man, I wonder if I can fuck this nigga. Is actually fucking her. I'm like, how is he? He must be like the Mac. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, The Mac.
Oh yeah.
He must be like that. You must be throwing shit in their ear that just got him like fucking
cocaine.
mesmerized.
That's what he thought it.
Maybe it's cocaine.
Yo,
I don't know what it was.
You know what? My bestie was a strip club DJ, so I spoke stripper.
I
don't even know what that means.
No, I tell you what it means because I knew a bunch of DJs and sometimes they were DJ strip clubs. And he goes, man, you know what's crazy? This is when I was early 20s. He goes, all you got to do, get a stripper, is just pay attention to them and actually be interested in what they got to say.
Yo,
so
you know
many
what?
aren't.
I was like Mike said, I was so wild back then because we used to go to like a lot of
I
after
don't think he was
hours.
listening to them.
No.
Yo, probably
John.
not.
That's
No,
not John's
that's
style.
not,
Probably
that
not.
wasn't your trick. You
Probably
didn't
Bitches
act
just
like
like this dude. It's weird, man.
Yo, but
Do
you
they
know
still
what,
do
though?
that? Do they still like you?
Yo, man, I'm grown now, man. You know what? The only thing that I have left to check off, man, is to get rich. You know what I mean? I've never been rich, but I've lived, I've done the private jets, stayed in the mansions, slept with, whatever. I'm not going to go there, but you know what I mean? Like, I'll say this, the professional athletes and me was sleeping with the same women.
I tell you one thing I got on top of you. I bagged a supermodel.
Yes, you did. Remember, she lived around the
Goddamn
corner.
right, from you.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not going to say her name.
I will, Alec Weck. I bagged that bitch. Absolutely. You think I'm not going to
She
say
used to
that?
come to Two Cents. Remember, y'all used to hang out there.
You know how I bagged
With
her
a
though? This is
supermodel.
the craziest story.
Yeah.
She called my phone. I used to work at the Museum of Modern Art, and she called me. And she was just talking to me, and I was like, I don't know who this is. Like, this is definitely a wrong number. But she talking to me like I should know who she is. So I'm like listening to hear something that's going to remind me of who she is. And then finally she goes, I just came back from London. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this chick is. So I go, I'm sorry. I think you called the wrong number. I don't know who you are. She was like, well, why did you talk to me for so long? I was like, because you was talking to me like I should have known who you was. And I didn't want to be disrespectful. So I hung up, and that was when I was buying minutes for my phone. This is way back.
Yeah.
That's when you had to buy minutes. So I was like, I can't waste my minutes on somebody I don't know. Then she called me back, son. She called me back like every day after that.
Because nobody ever talked to her like that.
Because nobody ever just listened to her,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, why you keep calling me? Like, I don't even
Wasting
know
my
who
minutes.
you are.
Yeah,
Wasting my minutes.
I remember her.
Yes, and then finally I was like, who are you? Like, what do you do? She was like, well, if I tell you, you're gonna know who I am. And I'm like,
Wait,
well,
so she didn't even tell you her name. She was just calling you for
She never
conversation.
told me her name. She just called me to talk, bro. Just to talk. It was the craziest thing.
You were
And
like
then-
a therapist. almost.
Yeah, I felt like that's what was missing in her life. Like, you know what I mean? And she was like, this guy.
But you hung out with her for a minute.
Well, that's before all this calling happened before we ever met. We met at the Boston Comedy Club because I was like, yo, we gotta meet because I can't be wasting my minutes on somebody that I don't know. And then I was really serious about my minutes. I wasn't making no money back then. I was like, yo, every time I gotta go get a card, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's some dollars I gotta spend, yo. So she came down there and she was like, me, my wife, So when I was messing with Alec, I met the woman who's going to become my wife at the Boston Comedy Club, but we weren't talking like that. We were just like homies. And I was like, yo, you know somebody named Alec Wack? And she was like, oh, hell yeah, she's a supermodel. I was like, for real? She's a real model? Because when she told me she was a model, I was
And
like,
they didn't have
sure.
Google and all that stuff
No,
back
That was
then.
before
either, yeah.
Google and all of that. And she told me she was a model. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Okay, when she walked in the club the first time you saw her,
I was like, yo, I know her. As soon as she got out the cab, I was like, oh,
Yeah, she had a
shit.
very unique look.
Very unique.
Very, very
Couldn't
unique.
fuck for shit. But
I remember you told me that.
horrible in bed.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
I was so disappointed.
I can't,
Oh my So I'm looking at Addison Rae. She just
That's
like was
insane.
jumped on your
She blew
37.7
up
million
when,
people.
Charlie D'Amelio blew up. Like basically,
Who the
just kinda
fuck is
for
Charlie
doing, like,
D'Amelio?
So
TikTok
she's a
dances
straight up
and stuff.
artist then.
I'd
Nothing
say
else.
She's like an influencer.
Influencer.
She's like an influencer actor with a couple songs.
What does that even mean, man?
It's what they do now.
What does the influencer even mean?
Okay. I was talking to my good friend Eric Griffin, and he said something that made a lot of sense, and I always repeat it. He goes, "You remember when there were models, Instagram models, and a lot of people made fun of them?" He goes, "Those are the models now."
Oh,
So,
yes.
so now influencers, those are
what's
the
so
people that
odd?
move projects.
Yo, you
you
know
got to
what's
talk
so-
into the mic, man. This is a
Yo,
podcast. You
okay,
know?
I'm sorry. I didn't know we was
How you
on.
acting
Oh, no, I
brand new
said we
because
were
you got your
on.
shit
Okay,
Okay,
back
I'm
on.
sorry. All right.
No, that never happened. What are you talking about? Well, I don't even know what you're talking about, Mike Yard. This has been seamless.
Now he acting brand new because his shit came back on.
No, what are you talking about? I don't know what this has never
He
stopped.
ran out of minutes. Let's not lie to the people.
My cell phone
He ran out
my
of minutes.
podcast ran out.
Exactly.
I had to re-up.
Podcast, he had to go get a podcast card. Re-up.
All right, so we cut off. I'm not gonna lie, we cut off on the podcast when you were talking about hooking up with some model and she was terrible in bed.
Oh, yeah,
So,
she was bad.
Moving on from that, John jumps on your little
IG Live.
IG Live. Addison Rae says, "Where'd you meet Addison Rae at?"
I met Addison at the Comedy Cellar.
Comedy. Is she a big comedy fan?
I don't know if she's a big comedy fan. She's super chill though. Yeah,
Yeah?
she loves comedy. Yeah, but she's super chill.
Did you know who she was when she came up, or how'd y'all meet?
You know what? I knew of her because she's such a huge influencer,
Yeah.
but I didn't know her. You know what I mean? But then, we were sitting there chopping it up after the show. She, like I said, some people are just cool people.
Cool people, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, not only is she like a huge influencer, but she's super chill though. She's
That's
also
dope.
super nice, yeah.
That's dope.
So she just pinged me and was like, "Yo, when are you getting on stage again?" But we in Vegas.
Tell her to come to Vegas.
Tell her to come to Vegas.
She got 37 million
Oh,
followers.
man.
She
can
can
afford that.
to
She
fly
can
to
fill
Vegas.
up an arena anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere.
That's a
great.
lot of followers.
But that's
bro.
the thing, Mike Yard. You got to get on it, man. You can't be old and be like, I'm not doing all this social media. That's how you get. I think this is the reason why I have both of these men on my show today. It's because I think they are so funny. Every time they come in, these are people I still watch their sets, and I think it's a crime. It's really a crime you haven't put out stuff because you so anti-social media.
Well,
That's
I mean,
terrible,
I have
Mike
an
Yard.
album out. It's
From how long ago?
when did I do it? Here's the thing. Here's my thing.
Yes.
Like I work. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and I work regularly.
Mike Yard, do you realize?
And people come to see me, bro. Like when I go to like
Nobody says, no, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just saying, yes, we all work, but you realize the day we're in, you do one clip. You talking about working, but doing the same work, but getting paid 10 times more for one clip.
Yeah.
I feel
So
you.
you need to do that.
Well,
man.
not only that though, it doesn't even matter how many people come out to see you. Like, I mean, I remember telling somebody like recently, so like a couple weeks ago, the Cellar posted a clip, right? And there's a bunch of people on there like, "Oh, this comedian's awful." They don't show the whole joke.
Yeah.
But there's 3.2 million views on that clip from a couple weeks ago. How many shows would I have to do to get in front of 3.2 million
That's
people?
what I'm saying. To have those kind of impressions.
okay.
It's not possible.
Dude, and let me tell you, I posted a clip the other day on my social media, and I didn't know it was controversial till it was controversial. But you'll be amazed. Those people arguing in my comments, not with me, with each other,
Oh yeah,
shot it up even more.
absolutely.
That's
the
why
engagement.
and that's what I learned, man. That's why so many people do controversy, because it's not even about what they say. It's about people writing in there and wanting to fight with other people that disagree with them, which pushes it up the algorithm. So it's brilliant. Like all these Tucker Carlsons and all these people, they don't even believe what they're saying, but they know it tracks, man. That's how you
it
get
tracks.
movement. It tracks.
Oh,
man.
it tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I've been like going back and forth with that shit. Like, do I want to do that? I mean, do I want to invest? I'd rather invest my time in writing a script, bro, than
true.
posting shit
Yeah.
on fucking social media. I mean, yeah, that's just where my mind is right now.
I got you.
You know what I mean? I would rather create a show idea than post clips on Instagram. You feel me?
But here's my point.
And I could sell that
think-
show and make the same money.
Or you could sell the show and make money by just posting a 30-second clip that wouldn't take you no time because the seller already takes it for you. They've done the work.
They've done the work.
They've done the work.
I feel
They've
you.
done the work.
I feel you.
Yeah, they've done the work.
You know what it is? I think, and maybe this is my problem, I don't really think about money like that.
But it's not about money. It's just about exposure, man.
Yeah, but you know
like,
what?
I think it's a crime. Not to cut you, I think it's a crime that you don't want to share your gift with the world. I think it's an absolute crime.
You want to see
know-
my gift? Come to the club.
But people, but there's only so many people in
This
Vegas
ain't the
right
70s.
now. Right?
This ain't the
it's
70s
not.
and 80s.
You know, the other thing though
I'm
too,
old
man.
school.
In all fairness, is I will say this too. It is very, and I don't give a damn what you're doing. It is very difficult to change. It's difficult, man, when you are really, really good at something like Mike is. Mike is the first person to ever take me on the road. This is one of my greatest comedy mentors, my big brother. You know, when I was in and out of rehab, he didn't flinch. You know what I mean? This is my guy.
When
No
you were
matter
getting
what
booed on stage, he
when
was
I was
there.
getting booed on stage,
But I saw what he was doing. I was like, oh, just keep doing it, bro. You're gonna get them laughs. Don't worry about it.
yeah. So this is my guy, but I know how difficult it is to change when you're this good at something, and then somebody says, "Oh, by the way, now you need to do this goofy thing." It's like, "Oh, come on, man."
That's the thing
After I
for
put
me,
all
man.
this,
But it's
I feel
not
like
goofy. But it's
so
not goofy.
bro.
No.
But it feels that way at first when someone says that to you. When someone if someone says,
No,
hey,
I get you.
If
I
someone
get you.
says, "What is the goal in this?" The goal is to one day be a closer, and then you become a closer. They say, "Oh, you know what? You also got to wear shiny boots." You serious, bro?
But you're not. You just posting a clip that you already do.
But I have to edit that clip. I have to.
There's more
now I
to
gotta.
it.
People can't even hear anymore. I watch some of these clips.
Yeah.
You got to put fucking
Captions.
captions
No,
underneath it.
No, but you know what? In all fairness, and this is what I'm talking about the difficulty of change, right, Mike? There's apps that you literally put your video in, they caption it for you,
It's called caption.ai.
and there's CapCut.
CapCut.
30 seconds later, if I showed it to you, you'd be like, "Oh, that's all there
You
is to it."
upload a clip and
Right.
it captions it. You're done.
Yes, but that's change, and I get it. I get how difficult sometimes it is to.
How old are you, Mike?
53.
53. So you're not that much older than me. Like, but here's my thinking when somebody says, when I meet people, you're older than me, but not by like lots of years. And I go, you were there when there was no computers.
Yeah.
And then you were there when there were computers. So if anybody can adapt, it's us. We had no cell phones. Then we had there was no internet. We had internet. So our people, us, we're the ones that should be able to adapt the easiest because we're used to technology changing so rapidly in our lives. So that's why I never get caught in, I'm old and I don't do that. It's because we were there with no video games, consoles, and now they have channels about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my thing. And that's one of the main reasons I brought Mike here today is to tell him I think it's a crime. Honestly, I brought
real,
you here.
I appreciate you.
Yo,
To
this
tell
is-
you
this is
it's
a-
a crime
this-
that people don't see your
This is a
stuff.
social media intervention.
I
It
know.
is.
You motherfuckers just had an intervention
That's
on
right,
me.
man.
Mike, we brought you here.
I've
We
known
got
you.
something to tell you.
I've known you for a long time. You've always been a good friend of mine, and I love you. But today, I need you to take the help that we're offering you.
I need you to do an Instagram live.
There's a flight leading back to New York in 30 minutes. If you don't take the help
Yo,
that
sometimes
we're
I do feel like I
if you don't
should
take
try
the
it.
help that we're offering you, Mike, I'm gonna be unable to continue talking to you.
He's speaking from experience right now.
He got the script memorized, man. Look at that. Memorized.
John, we care about you, John.
I
We
remember-
can't watch you kill yourself.
Yo, that's what Esty told me.
Yo, I used to be like, yo,
That's
what
what
the
she told
fuck
me
is
when she
John
put
doing,
me
man?
out of the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, Esty put you out of the comedy?
That's why I'm sober now.
So tell me how that all went down.
Esty called me and said, she said, hey, she could tell I'd been drinking at the club, and she said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna call you tomorrow. She said, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And then she called me and she said, hey, I'm taking you off the schedule for the rest of the week. And she said, yeah. She said, John, you're welcome to kill yourself. You just can't do it in front of me. I can't go home and stress about you every night. I'm too old for this. She said, you got to pull it together. And she said, I understand the frustration. She said, I can count the people, you know, that I've seen over the years that have the talent that I understand where the frustration is coming from, but you got to wait till it happens. You cannot drink yourself to death. And she said, and you're going to come down here every Sunday so I can look at you because I know what you look like when you've been drinking. So I had to go down there every Sunday so she could look at me. And then I would say, okay, can I send my avails in? Nah, she was like, you're going to have to wait until you get it together. I need to know that you really, and then, yeah, it was 3 months before she let me send my avails in. And then when I came back, whenever if I send 5 days to Esty, she gives me 5 days. So I send in 7 days because I'm desperate, right? I ain't been there over 3 months. Over 3 months. And I sent her 7 days. She sent me one show. And then the second week, I sent her 7 days. She sent me 1. The third week, I sent her 7 days. She gave me 2. And then 2, and then 3, and then 3.
Yeah, Esty's like a counselor.
Yeah, but that was the end of my drinking.
Esty saved your life.
Absolutely.
He was wilding, bro.
Absolutely.
Wilding.
Absolutely saved my life.
Wow.
Everybody was worried about this dude.
How many? Were you in any interventions, or they all didn't do that?
No, I didn't. I didn't have an intervention with him, but I used to always tell him, like, "What are you doing?" Like, he used to get fucked up.
The way you just
like, I mean, John was doing it on a different level. Yeah, he was.
Are
he
you
was
surprised you're
going
not dead? Sometimes.
You know what? You know what's so funny is sometimes I get pissed off when I see things that aren't fair. You know what I mean? You watch some of these unhilarious ass people getting late night JFL, whatever. But then I think to myself, if life was fair, I'd be dead. So it's a good thing it ain't fair.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
It's a good thing it ain't fair. Because if it was, I wouldn't be here.
Because somebody could do it once, what you did once, and die.
Oh, yeah. I used to try to overdose all the time.
On purpose.
Oh, yeah. And then I would wake up the next day like, I can't even do that right. You know what I'm saying? This is terrible.
The crazy thing is, like, where did that come from, though? Because, like, if you look at your life on a whole, you had a pretty good ride.
Oh, man, let me tell you something. If this ceiling falls in on me, I don't want anybody to. I put it like this. Mike knows me. Anybody who come to my funeral and they sad the whole time, they didn't know me. There's going to be some people that come to know me that's sad, but you're going to hear them giggling after that. Like, yo, remember that
they're
time?
going to be talking about all the shit he
Yes. The
That's
people
all
who
you
know
gonna
me,
hear.
the people who know me, yeah, no one's going to cry. No one who knew me would ever, they would be like, that motherfucker had a hell of a ride.
Yeah, they knew, he lucky to even make it this far.
But I'm saying it was so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always talk about white privilege, but you talk about black privilege, bro. The hood athlete, you know what I'm saying? To comedy.
Everybody takes care of you.
Yes. I've been taking care since I was, man, my girlfriend when I was 16, 17 was Miss Black Colorado, and it never let up. You know what I mean? This has been one glorious ride. If I died today, 0, 0, 0 regrets. And God forbid, this app is on the move.
Now let's talk about BLAP because I know that's another reason I brought you in. Every time I have you in, I want you to promote it. I want it to get bigger because I do want to get a paycheck when you get some money.
So this is your investment in BLAP.
This is my investment in you.
You'd be like, yo, John.
This is my $20,000.
I'm seeing the numbers. Remember when you were on my podcast?
Yep. BLAP. Let's talk about BLAP because this is something that I'm very proud of. I like to help the black community because I'm part of it as well. So it's a thing where anytime I can give that platform to somebody, I love to do it. So please, the floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, you know, watching George Floyd get choked out, man, it really rattled me. You know, this dude's the same height, exact same weight to the exact. I was 215, 6'4", 215, same skin color, same haircut. It's like watching myself die. You know what I mean? And I decided this time, man, that, you know, I was going to do something. You know the old saying in the hood, if you knew better, you do better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I knew better. So marching and yelling and complaining and waiting on the government to do something. And so I made a phone call to Silicon Valley, a friend of mine named Margot, who used to actually lived in the hood back from Denver. And she was at Facebook and then had a dinner guest over, man. And the guy said, hey, tell your boy I'll do it for free. That'll be my contribution to the Black Lives Matter movement, my boy Matt. And then we just, you know, people who know me know I'm a worker bee. So I just got up every morning, man, at 8 o'clock in the morning for like over a year, till we got a prototype, and then handed that off. But it's growing now, man. So and every once in a while you get those DMs or something that move you. People don't know who they talking to. They don't know I'm the only one that reads the damn things. And it's like, oh, to you folks at BLAP, I've been getting these extra customers. Thank you so much. This lawyer guy came in and told me, his business, he was packing up. Somebody came in, $5,000 a month retainer they gave him for the next 3 years. And he said, yo, man, I don't know how much $5,000 means to you, but to me and my family, it meant everything. You get those type of folks chirping in, man, and you like, yeah, this is bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? It's not like comedy or like basketball. You working for yourself, but I know that at the end of this, I might have a chance to start recirculating that black dollar, which would, no matter how funny I am or how much of a barbershop legend you are, they still arguing about you in Denver. BLAP is what's going to go on my tombstone.
You got to explain to them exactly what BLAP is.
Yeah, you're a terrible salesman.
You really are horrible. I'm sitting here going, yeah, okay. George Floyd, what the fuck? Like, what is BLAP?
Yo, BLAP, okay.
Let them know exactly what it is.
It's a geolocated app. It also has an e-commerce platform on it for Black-owned businesses. But there's over 60,000 Black-owned businesses on this app.
All right.
So
if you want to support Black-owned businesses,
download BLAP.
No matter what color you are.
No matter what color.
Download BLAP.
Yes. It's on the App Store, the Play Store.
So when I'm in any area,
it's a digital green book.
It's a digital green book. Thank you for explaining his app better than him.
I just fucking do it for you, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a digital green book.
And it's as simple as it could possibly get because everybody can read a damn Google map. So it's on,
no matter where you go, you just turn it on and it'll show you all the Black-owned.
There's Las Vegas right there.
Look at that right there.
On the map.
That camera right there.
Bam.
That camera right there.
Bam. It's super simple.
And we'll zoom in on it.
Yeah.
And edit.
Yeah, all good.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I just want to let you guys know, like I told you before, I love you guys. I think it's a crime you don't put out your own stuff, and I'm gonna say it again. And I'm so proud of you. I've only known, I haven't known you that long, but I know you a little bit better. But what I love is how good you are at the craft, how I learned so much just talking to y'all. And I mean, we could get into deep conversations on another podcast. This one, we had some technical difficulties, took away some time, but I would love when y'all come back to do another one because there's a lot of, I would love to do a podcast just about problems in the world and the way you see it and things like that. Because we had such a good time talking about it at dinner. You know what I mean? I think people would be fascinated to hear, it's a lot of stuff going on out there. And what I love about comedy is it's the only time people actually listen because you have to listen to get the joke. And that's what I love about our platform too.
What I love about comedy is that I love that, you could make people think, you could make people see things differently, but I also hate, what I don't like is that it's hard to be the motherfucker that sees the reality. You know what I mean? It's like when you're watching the world implode and you're like, but you don't have to do that. And comics, we see that. We see the world the exact way it is. We don't get involved in ideology or none of that dumb shit. We just look at the world the way it should be, the way it's supposed to be, or the way it is. And we see all the craziness on both sides. You know what I mean? Both of these motherfuckers are insane. When you talk about like politics or Republicans, and they're both insane. So for me, what's killing me, and that's what I started talking about more, and that's why I want to do my special on, is that it's so hard to watch people just live in this fucking fake ass world that they've created for themselves. You know what I mean?
You know what? I disagree with you. Because number one, I don't think that they created it for themselves. I think someone created it.
They chose a side though.
Yeah, but someone's creating to keep feeding the nonsense. I also don't.
But you have a choice whether you take it or not.
Right, but I'm just saying once you go into that silo, you're kind of in that silo. But I also don't believe, this whole little both sides is, I think that's really nonsensical. It's almost like saying...
What's nonsensical?
That both sides do the same thing.
They do!
Just stay with me. Let me finish, and then you can chime in. To me, saying both sides do the same thing is like saying, I have two bad kids. For example, you have a son and a daughter. That's almost like you saying, yeah, my son, he just sometimes doesn't want to go to bed at night. My daughter, she tries to burn my neighbors' houses down. You know what I'm saying? That's not the same
But
thing.
they both
That's
do
not
that.
the same
What are you
thing.
talking about?
They don't both try
They
to
both
burn.
censor speech. They both censor people. They both
Right. One
force
of
their-
them, right. One side tried to end democracy. That's not the same thing as policy
Donald Trump
arguments.
tried to end democracy.
That's what I'm saying. But they're defending it. There's another side that's defending it. That's a false equivalent. When someone says, you know what, man, I just don't feel like going to bed
I
versus,
disagree.
you know what, I'm going to burn
disagree.
this house down. That's not the same.
I disagree, bro. But both of them, their main focus is to end speech that they don't agree with. Both of them do that. So when you're telling me that it's a false equivalent, I disagree vehemently. They both try to end speech. They both try to dictate.
Right, but I'm talking about trying to end everything.
I don't think they were trying to end everything.
You
I
don't
think
think
what happened on January 6th was motherfuckers trying to inflict.
Let me ask you this. What do you think would have happened? And don't take my word for it. Read the transcripts. What do you think these guys would have done had they got a hold of some of the senators or Nancy Pelosi or Mike Pence? What do you think they would have done? You think they'd have took them out to IHOP?
No, I'm not. But look, you're talking about. But you're talking. I'm not.
These fools came to end democracy, and the president of the United States sat there. That's not the same. This nonsensical. Oh, they all do the same thing. That's not the same thing.
They absolutely
One guy
is
tried
the
to
same
end
thing, bro.
the United States.
I don't believe that's what was happening.
What do
I
you
think what they were trying to do.
What do you think would have happened if they would have murdered those senators? If they would have got into the chamber where those senators and Congress people were there, and they murder some of them, you could not have a vote that night to certify the election.
Okay.
He would have ended democracy because then he could have said, oh, all hell broke loose. I got to bring in the military. I got to do something drastic. That's not the same as
I think what they were doing was just trying to impose their will on the rest of the country.
But
just
why?
Like both sides do that.
But why would this guy sit there if he's not contributing to that?
What do you mean?
Why would the
Well,
president?
you're talking about Donald Trump. I don't listen. My view on Donald Trump is I don't have an issue with Donald Trump. I have an issue with the motherfuckers that follow Donald Trump because Donald Trump is gonna do him.
Okay.
And he's one of the most selfish individuals ever in the history of America and the planet.
Yes.
He's one of the most narcissistic individuals.
So how do you compare that?
What I'm saying is, I do not blame him for what other people do. He could say whatever the fuck he wants, but you're a grown up. And you have a choice whether you run up on the Capitol or not.
I used to actually enjoy watching Fox News because me and you can have a different opinion about how to grow the economy. We can have a
100%.
different about what to do with Ukraine. Should we send them stuff? Should we not send them stuff? It's different when you just make up stuff.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You just there's a difference between arguing about how to get something done and just lying and saying, you know what, these machines, to the point that you get sued for $787 million in court.
And lose.
That's totally different.
So, no, I agree. But I believe with Mike sold a show to Universal. Can I say that? Sold a show to Universal. And the executive that was in the room, obviously white, right? A white guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, Mike told his story about coming up in New York. And that white guy said, I grew up in the same New York and I've never seen anything of that. And I think that's what the news is. It's just showing two different stories based on the same facts.
See,
That's all they're doing.
my point is this. I'm not saying Donald Trump is not dangerous. That's not my point.
No,
my
I know
point
what you're
is
saying.
the Republican Party and the you're talking about the Republican Party that Donald Trump created. But even before that, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party were still doing, they still do the same shit. Okay? They just hide it in red and blue.
I think
but
Donald
they do
Trump
the same shit. Donald Trump changed the game, made it a more violent. He sure did. Absolutely.
And I also think he said what other people kept quiet that was going on anyway.
Yeah, he's only saying what these people
Or already doing.
Yeah.
Out loud.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, yeah, we could sit here and hate Donald Trump and blame him all the time, but he didn't storm the Capitol.
No.
But all these grown-ups, grown-ass men and women.
I would never blame one person either.
Yeah.
I
Grown-ass
agree
men
with
and
you
women.
on that. I would never blame.
They made a choice
And I'm with you. I hate when people blame other people for what
the shit they did.
What they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying is, That's why I say I don't hate Donald Trump. He's gonna say whatever he want to say because he's a selfish individual.
It's about the followers.
And whatever he got to say to get what he want, he's gonna say.
Right.
You have a choice whether you follow him or not.
Right. But what I'm saying is, to your point, I couldn't agree with you more, Mike, about blaming one person. But look at the speeches that were made later on that night about people saying this was his fault. And then look at what they've done now to a guy who they said in the halls of Congress, this guy tried to end a 250-something year experiment.
I get that, but
and
you
now
realize,
backpedaled, meaning you know that they know.
Yeah. But
the Democrats would never.
No, I agree. They would never do that.
You know that.
But,
you know they would never do that. So there's no comparison.
But I do believe, and if you go in history, there's always a moment where the other party thinks the other side is taking over the country. Because you can go back to Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely.
But
let's call it what it is. Let's not say that they're both the same. That's all I'm saying.
The Democrat Party is the one that wrote the 1994 crime bill that sent a bunch of fucking children to jail for having like a fucking bag of weed on them and gave motherfuckers like 30 years to life, bro. The Democrats wrote that. So what are we doing? What are we talking about?
But Mike, what I'm saying to you is I agree.
Joe Biden wrote that.
I agreed with you in the beginning when I said those are policy fights. You said they wrote the bill. That's a policy fight. That's not inviting thugs to end democracy. A policy fight, I'm with you. I think that they both do shitty things. I totally agree.
But that's what
They're
invited
both corrupt.
stop and frisk and all this shit.
That's
what he says is a policy. I understand.
But it has real world implications.
100%.
So why are we letting the Democrats off the hook when they do evil shit to us too?
They do.
Right, but you're talking about a policy debate. I agree with you.
Okay, to be continued.
I get a little emotional.
As you should. But
and that's how he is on stage. That's why people need to see this.
But that still lies within the democratic process. Using force to overturn an election is foreign. That's not the same thing as bad policy. Even if it affects me as a black man who used to get stop and frisk, that's still a policy debate.
I think that was a horrible day for Republicans. That was a bad day for them.
But the problem I have with both sides, and Mike hit on one and you hit on one. The parties, the Republicans won't come out and say it's wrong. They will not. Even the candidates that are running today.
Well, Chris Christie is
saying.
Wait
a minute. Even after they did say it was wrong that night, they said it,
and now they're like,
that's totally different.
So I don't like that they don't come out. Even the people that are running for president, because they don't want to lose their seats. But I also don't like where Democrats, back when they did that bill, they won't say that's wrong either.
Exactly.
They won't say that's wrong.
You know who did prison reform? Donald Trump.
Right, but what I'm saying, it's still, that's a policy debate. We can have the policy debates all day. I agree
January 6th was a bad fucking day. And I agree that Donald Trump spurred that shit on, talking a lot of that incendiary shit.
But I mean, if every time someone loses, we say, you know what? Let me go get my gun.
No, I get you. But you realize
totally different.
But you realize the country.
They're all doing the same thing. No, we're not. No, we're not going to get our guns and running up in the Capitol when we don't like what happened.
But can you
imagine?
We
don't like the crime bill, so now we just going to run. You know what? Let's run up in there and start shooting motherfuckers. No one did that ever.
But you
cannot compare. They're not comparable.
No, I understand. I understand. But I will say, can you imagine?
And it's sad that people say that.
But can you imagine if you feeling this about people storming the Capitol and trying to overturn an election? Can you imagine when they let black people free? How the country reacted to that?
Oh yeah,
of course.
Can you imagine? So what I'm saying is, there's always these moments in history where people feel like, oh, it's going to end. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well,
so this is nothing new.
When they let Jackie out there,
who?
Jackie Robinson.
Oh yeah.
You know that there had to be a whole lot of there goes the neighborhood. Yes,
100%.
You let him into the pastime.
But as far as policy and politics, it's always like I read a lot of books on. There's always a moment where one president is gonna ruin the world, and
if Barack Obama's gonna ruin the world,
and it always happens.
And I don't believe, because I'm one of the few people that believes that this guy's going to jail. And I've been saying yes. I do believe.
I don't think he's gonna go to jail.
That's fine. And I've been taking bets. I got $1,500 on it. I'm gonna get my money.
All right. Where can people find y'all?
I'm on.
You're not on nothing.
I'm on all of it, but I just don't. But you can check me out on.
His number 718.
Call me on my rotary phone. I got a house phone. phone.
Page him.
Nigga still got a page.
Two-way me.
Hit him on the chirp.
Mike Yard
Chirping.
Comedy. Mike Yard Comedy across all platforms. Mike Yard
dash
Comedy.
911. Yo,
John, where can we
first and foremost, download Blap.
Yes.
Geolocated app. Let you know all the black-owned businesses are around you. Also, hit me at He Was Funny. Yeah, hit me at He Was Funny.
As always, I'm on tour. Check out my schedule. I kick off my brand new tour called Do I Lie? Actually, August 4th and 5th in La Jolla, California. We always sell it out, so come on out at the Comedy Store. Thanks for hanging. Later.